to Women's Talk Live. It's been a minute. It's been a minute, ladies.
A long minute.
Oh my
we
gosh.
got we got the old gang back for Women's Talk Radio. Who would have
Yes, we
thought?
do.
Who would have thought? Oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is awesome. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited.
Be like Throwback Thursday.
I know. Yeah, I mean, we've been trying to do this. Well, me and Sassy been talking about doing this for a minute. Because we were there. Women's Talk Live was the first on WPB Radio, which is now live and streaming again. So I'm happy with that. Happy with that. So why shouldn't we, Women's Talk Live, be a part of that? So I'm excited. I'm excited. So what? So before we get into everything, because it's a lot going on. A lot going on.
we got a lot to talk about. And
We do.
my
We do.
cup is full.
Girl.
Lord, y'all.
But before we get into that, I want to find out, let everyone know what's going on with the ladies. We're gonna start with Kimberly. Kimberly got a lot going on. She has a restaurant that's being built in Baltimore. You got a lot going on, girl. Tell us about it.
Oh man. So KL Boogie was boogieing for real, for real.
Uh-huh.
So Breaking Bread restaurant is really just an award-winning restaurant. Who knew? A girl could
Yeah,
cook and people would like it, want to eat. Who knew? But yeah, so
right.
we still do catering. We purchased 3 buildings on Park Avenue off of Park in Saratoga. So we're doing a build out. So
Hmm.
we can actually, we could break bread and have some conversations and do it that way. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We got to do some shows down there.
And
definitely.
that's what it sounds like with some sticky wings on deck.
Oh,
It's gonna be plus
yes.
us. We're gonna do a deck on the roof.
Oh, yes.
So we'll be able to
Oh,
talk with a view.
Nice. I like
will we
that.
be able to smoke cigars up here?
Oh,
Look, is your choice, but from what I hear, we about to have a little legalization. So you smoke yours, not mine.
I
We'll be
said
good.
cigars. I'm
Look,
worried about cigars.
that,
I
yeah.
smoke.
Let me make it clear, people. I'm only worried about smoking cigars.
Oh, yeah. That's
I'm
all
just.
I smoke.
It's
I don't know.
that is a cigar. Now how I end is
Oh.
totally different.
Not yet. Well,
Mine
I
stays a
can't.
cigar.
I'm a cigar smoker. I'm just a cigar smoker. I can't help myself. I mean, I did. Don't get me wrong. I did indulge in a place where it's legal. Let me put that out there.
Look, no, I can't
I
get
am
past it.
pleading
You
the
can't
fifth on
inhale.
all of that.
Right.
That's like
But
near beer. You can't inhale. Like, what is the whole? No.
you know
I
what?
want.
But it gives you a certain high though. Cigars kind of gives you
The
that
cigar,
relaxed feeling. Like I could
yeah.
drink, and it gives you that really nice, relaxed, like mellow.
You
And
can exhale.
I'm telling you, it's certain cigars that can get you there, can get you there. Like
Yes.
I can
Well,
relax.
I welcome the opportunity to try one.
Okay, all right. Oh man, so Sass, what's going on with you? Because you have situations with Sassy.
Well, I'm doing situations with Sassy, but I am doing something a little bit different this year. Um, the network reached out to me, the network that I'm on that actually, does situations that I have situations with Sassy on in New York, wanted to do something different. And they was like, Sassy, you're bold. So we want to give you a platform where you can speak your mind and say whatever you want.
Wow.
Meaning I can be real rough, rugged, and raw. And the show
Right.
is called Shut Your Ass Up.
I
And
love it.
it's
Wow.
called
Okay.
Shut Your Ass Up. It's on Vinoy.com, but it's a subscription service. So it's $4.98 a month. Just like Situations with Sassy, each and every Monday, the show drops at 12 o'clock. So, oh man. And what I just talked about is kind of what we're going to get into today is when I get on social media and I get in these platforms because that's where I get my content from for my shows, that and
Right.
life experiences. And what I'm witnessing, especially today, after the slap heard around the world
Mm.
is
Mm.
that black men appear to not necessarily, we know they act like they don't love us from the way in which they talk, the derogatory, the negative, the denigrating comments, but they act like they don't even like us. And that's what I'm seeing. I've seen comments across the board with the
Mhm.
negativity directed towards the wife. And then I've seen the negativity directed towards the husband. So I just talked about that in the last couple of shows, like the value of Black lives and how Black men seem to not love, value, and appreciate Black women. And today was just exacerbated that whole process. So yeah, every Monday on Vonoi, VONOI.com, you gotta subscribe. Oops, that's why I hate these things. Because my ears aren't big enough.
Okay.
But you have to subscribe to Shut Your Ass Up and click on Shut Your Ass Up, hit the subscribe button. It's $4.98 a month.
Oh, okay. All right. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes. And then of course we got Women's Talk Live,
Yeah.
Miami, New Orleans, North Carolina. So
Yeah, and we do have opportunities to go into more markets.
national.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I'll get into that. We're still working that out. But I'm excited about that. Um, and as for me, I don't know. I mean, I'm doing what I can, doing what I can. I got a documentary coming out for when I went over to Ethiopia. Like really excited to put that out. And we're gonna, myself and other photographers are actually getting ready to do like a viewing and like a festival or something where it kind of shows the pictures that were taken, and then we'll have the debut of the documentary. So um, I'm in the process of working on that, so I'm excited, and uh, and I'm actually getting ready to go to Vegas this week to film a documentary on madams and brothels that they run these brothels in Las Vegas. So that should be
The
interesting.
Bunny Ranch.
Yeah, yeah.
But see,
Yeah,
I
really
watched the Bunny Ranch when it was
interesting that
on
women
cable
run it.
and the guy just died.
Say that again.
I want to see the perspective of men versus women who run brothels, like the whole madam versus, I guess, pimp. I don't know if they're still considered a pimp if they're in a legalized brothel, but I would definitely be interested to see, the difference in just how they view their business.
Right, right. Yeah, that would be it. Yeah, that's actually interesting. I would want to know that too because yeah. What is the difference? Is it because it's a woman running it? I don't know. Um,
Oh, I didn't
but
think about it from that perspective. Would it be the fact that a woman may be a little bit more understanding or less understanding because she's a woman?
well, I mean that goes to to the fact that they say that about GYN doctors. I mean, they say some male GYNs are a little bit more um, understanding than women GYN doctors. I
I
wouldn't
typically
know.
prefer a man than a woman.
Well, I do
I'm
too.
just
Mine's the. I mean, I had a man deliver
Really?
my. Yeah, I had a man
Prefer
deliver my kid.
yes,
Yeah, and I
yes,
and the
I
guy
prefer a
went.
yes.
woman.
If I'm gonna have somebody looking at my cooter, it's gonna be a man.
No, I would prefer. I'm more comfortable with a woman. I'm not. I've never been comfortable with a man OBGYN,
Okay.
and I
Really?
think, yeah, I just because to me that's when you little, like, that's your privates, and it's just same. Yeah, that just it doesn't sit well with me to have a male OBGYN. But to
Okay.
the mindset of the brothels, I'm really thinking, in terms of the nuances of what, how women approach business, and how we
Mm.
negotiate, even from something as simple as, a woman's perspective as to how to design her bunny ranch. I know bunny ranch is a brand, but you know what I mean, like how to
Right.
design it, like when you the softer touches, the feminine wiles and things like that. Like I just think that women bring such a we accessorize life. We make it more vibrant with what we bring to the table. So, yeah, I'm really interested to see the difference in the business model between one versus the other.
Okay. All right.
That's
Well, I
interesting.
mean, I've had a male. Like I said, my first GYN, OBGYN, he was a male, uh, and he was actually referred to me by another young lady when I first got pregnant, and he was awesome. He was great. Like I loved him. And then when he disappeared, um,
This bitch like disappeared.
he did. He did. I know.
What? What was he?
I started.
Was he like fondling his patients or
No,
something?
no, it wasn't anything like that because I
I
had
mean,
an
she said he
appointment.
disappeared like the man was,
No, here's the
putting
story. Here's the story.
cocaine in people and
I
whatnot.
actually I had an appointment with him, and his nurse, like who was managed the place, said called me. Was like, hey, we may have to reschedule you um because the his name is Dr. Major. He was like, Dr. Major, we don't know why he didn't show up for work. And I was just like, okay, well, why didn't he show up for work? So then, so
Yeah,
then,
that's a
right. So then I go. So then she calls back. And then I called back because me and her were like cool. And I was just like, so I called to say, hey, is he okay? Did he show up? And she was just like, well, I don't know because I went by his house and everything out of his house was gone. And I was just like,
yo, this sounds like this should be on Dateline.
I was like, what? I said, what do you mean? She was like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. So his partner was also a male. So I ended up going to him. And I asked him, I said, well, what happened to Dr. Majors? I mean, he said, I don't know. He said there's rumors he was in a witness protection program, but I don't
Oh my
know.
God.
So
Oh my goodness.
I was just
That is
like,
Only your
crazy.
doctor.
I was like, oh wow. I said, well, he was just such an amazing
See?
doctor. I was just
See?
like, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, my first OBGYN at the age of 18 was a male.
I just think
So
males are more
that's
the males
my personal comfortability is just I'd rather have a man. I just don't feel right with a woman's hand on my body. It don't touch me. But
it's
then when
like
I
them
started having
checking
issues
them.
and the man was telling me, I was like, you don't know what the hell you talking about because you're not a woman. So then I went to a woman to confirm what he had told me. So
Uh,
that was it. And then I
Well,
went
I
back
mean,
to my male doctor.
I had some issues. I did, and what I like with
Mhm.
my doctor, whatever I have going on, he does whatever is necessary to find out what it is, and he's very thorough. He doesn't dismiss what I say, or because he says, well, I mean, it's your body. You know when something isn't right, so he never
Okay.
dismisses me. So that's what I
The
like about
Hers
him. I've
girl
been with
said
him.
we need to start talking about the Hers girl said we need to start talking about what the hell we
Okay.
said we were
All
gonna
right.
start
All right.
talking
All right.
about.
All right. All right. I'm gonna listen to the Harris girls because I don't want no problems. I know about the Harris girls. I don't want no problems. All right.
Yes, indeed.
So listen, I honestly I don't watch the Oscars. I don't watch any of the award shows. I really don't. Um, but when I woke up this morning, I watched the Financial Channel every morning. But I see this like they're showing, and at first I thought it was a joke when Will Smith got up after a joke that Chris Rock said, and he got up and hit him. And at first I was just like, I was looking like, oh, that can't be real until he sat down, and then he was yelling at him like, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth, and I was just like, whoa, what the? So what I did do, and I'm gonna read a couple of the comments I had, but I posted a picture of Will Smith smacking. Now, first of all, the open hand smack was. I'm gonna leave that alone.
What the Sherzad Ali said. Sherzad Ali said you need to slap your woman, give your woman an open hand slap across the face to keep it in check. So
What?
what we witnessed was years of frustration, of emasculation, maybe of of being emasculated by the nation and the world on a world stage. Frustration at your wife and the world knowing that you allow other men to lay with her, and it's okay. So you got all of these things that are coming at him, and I think last night was just a straw that broke the camel's back. It was the wrong platform,
But
but
he laughed. Now let's not get it twisted. He laughed at
did
first.
he? But did he laugh or did he be like, oh yeah, I see you, that you got jokes, goddamn it, I see you.
No,
Was
that
that like the
no. If
laugh?
you see it, he actually
I
laughed.
saw it.
So and
I saw
then,
it, but the laugh to me was like, haha, yeah, you got jokes.
but then Jada, she sat there like rolled her eyes, and I think he looked at her, and
Mhm.
to me it was like she gave that like, oh, so you just gonna let him do that or whatever it was. I don't know. But then he
I
gets
think
up.
that look made him realize like that's going to be another conversation. Like this is, you know what I mean? Like this is part of the reason. There's so many things and so many times that she's, in my opinion, done things that emasculate him in terms of, you
Mm-hmm.
know, what's done and what's said, how she carries him. It's not something from what I would consider my own traditional roles, in terms of relationships, in terms of how you handle your man. And so when he looked at her and it was just like, oh, so this the shit I'm talking about, you know. Yeah, but for him to get up and strike Chris Rock, he's wrong as fuck for that. You
Mm-hmm.
could, you know, if you want to get up, like people gave so many positive ways to have addressed that, like, you know, to address the alopecia issue. But if you check off the point, she's always rocked a short haircut. She's beautiful no matter what her hairstyle is. And there's no
Mm-hmm.
guarantee that he knew about alopecia. And she
Right.
rocked a G.I. Jane haircut.
Yeah.
What the,
Right. And
like,
But
not
see,
only that, her
mm,
outfit was like army green. So and like I said, he probably really did not know. I didn't know she had alopecia. I had no clue. I just thought she
me
was just
too.
rocking a really cool bald head. And I
Like her
mean,
jacket.
yeah, he didn't
no.
compare her to anybody that was hoish or sluttish. I
Listen,
mean, G.I. wasn't that.
this shit goes back to 2016 when Oscar So White was trending. Jada protested. Chris decided to host, and she wanted him to say that he was going to step down from hosting. Fast forward to 2018, Will pulled Chris to the side and said, keep my wife and my family's name out your effing mouth. So you have been warned. And last night it could have just been like, this nigga think I'm joking and shit. And as a friend of mine wrote, people talk about the fuck around and find out, and then everybody's thrown when it happens for real. So what
Now,
do you
with
do?
but you know what? And I don't get me wrong. I do not I do not disagree with him defending his wife. I really don't. I think he was, in all seriousness, I believe he has every right to defend his wife. However, he does not have a right to
Right,
assault somebody. He really
right.
doesn't. Like Chris Rock,
He
if
doesn't.
Chris Rock wanted to, he could have swung back on him, but he
But
didn't.
if you look, Chris almost he did. Cause listen, Will from West Philly, Chris from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And although he may look slim, he probably knocked a nigga out. You never know.
You never
So
know.
you did see him pull like his first instinct was to hit him, but then he was the bigger person and
Right.
decided not to.
Now, granted, only two people that I feel bad for in this situation because it took away from their story is Venus and Serena Williams because he won an Oscar for playing their father. And this situation overshadowed that. And I felt like that, like now it's just like, okay, you had this awesome movie where he actually did a wonderful job and should have
Mm-hmm.
won an Oscar for, and now it's tainted by him going and losing his mind over, I don't know.
But
it
it
just
also overshadowed Questlove because that's who Chris was announcing. It's also overshadowing Will Packer because he produced it.
mhm.
But what I posted in your group, or the comment that I made was, we as a black community, and I posted it to my page talking about the optics. I posted this last night. the optics of two black men on a world stage, right? It's not a good look.
Right.
But we've normalized, we've been culturally conditioned. That's what it is. We've been culturally conditioned to have normalization of if one black person does it, every black person in the world
We're all
does
equal.
that.
We're all
But we
equal.
don't say that every white person is a Jeffrey Dahmer or a John Wayne Gacy
Exactly.
or one of these other Ted Bundy or Charles Manson. That's that one individual white person. So we got to unnormalize the normalization of that. Will messed up.
All right.
He
So I
messed
have a
up.
question.
Mhm.
Two questions.
Yes.
My first one is, do you think that, like you were talking about Chris Rock's size and, so on and so forth, like there are other people who have had beef and said, shit about stuff. I gotta watch my mouth, Lord knows. But yeah, that said stuff that was inappropriate. Would he have struck them? You know what I mean? Like, was because
Like
certain
Dave
people
Chappelle or
Or
Jerry
white
Seinfeld
comedian.
or something.
Or white comedian. Would he have struck a
or
white
white
comedian?
comedians, exactly, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think for me, it's the level of comfortability
Right.
of your lesser self. Like the biggest takeaway from that was the quote that Denzel Washington made about, the devil comes out in your highest moments or something like that. I have to,
Yes,
look up.
Yeah.
indeed. Yes, he did. He
Yeah.
said the
But
devil comes at you at your highest moment. Be
Mhm.
that was
careful.
it.
Right.
Exactly. And that, to me, that right there is the lesson in all of that. Because you have this black man who's revered. Will Smith is white bread,
Right.
to middle America.
Right.
And, so with that mentality, like, you've shown that anger and aggression and that raw that we fear, that puts us in fear, so much. And I do believe, like, had he been anybody else that acts poorly, that's not of the same hue as you and I, get passes and explanations, so I just feel like it just did a disservice to the whole thing. I think he should have handled it better. I understand that's your wife, so on and so forth, but I mean, we're all taught. I don't know, like we
We're
taught.
all taught. And you know what? And I say that, yeah, and there's a way to address things. There's a way to address things outside of resorting to hitting somebody. Take
Let's get him on stage. That's all I'm saying.
Again,
Yeah.
people
This
keep
off camera.
saying our community is quick online, and we all know that we got internet gangsters. I get women coming from me. You would look better if you would wear a waist trainer with your outfits and all this other bullshit. I look good
They
anyway.
know who they
You just
talking
jealous
to.
that I ain't. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
I
Girl,
would love
they
to
be
be a
coming
flower
for me.
having
They come for me. But when we look at that, we got these internet gangsters. You can say whatever it is you want behind the comfortability of this little box that we're
Right.
talking through right now.
Right.
But it's when you get face to face that it becomes a larger issue. And I
Right.
think Will, when he stood up, he had enough time from the time he stood up out of his chair to walk across that stage to kind of talk himself down
Exactly.
and went up to him and said, you know what? I done told your ass before. Keep
Right.
my family's name out your mouth. But I'm gonna
He could.
talk to you after the show.
Right. He could have.
And
He
then
could
went
have.
and sat down.
Now look at how during Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's
Yes.
yes, and look how a lot of those Republican senators raked her over the coals. And you know how Cory Booker handled it? He reminded them that she
Yep.
was a black woman that deserved to be there. He put
Yes,
all of
yes,
them
he
in
did.
their place and didn't have to strike a punch. He struck a punch
Well,
in
he
another
did. He
way.
just verbally.
Yeah, and that's what he did. He stood up for that black woman publicly, and he didn't have to strike either one of those white folks. So
Well, I will
Kimberly,
say this about that whole thing was
what has your husband said about this? Because I know that what was his thoughts on this when he saw it? Because I know y'all talked about it. I know y'all talked about it.
no. So he's from Brooklyn. So for
Okay.
him, respect is everything. Certain dudes in certain arenas. What people have to understand is everything's not for everybody. You're going to have certain environments where even somebody like me, who did corporate America for years, have to sometimes take somebody to the side and be like, check it out. Like, you really shouldn't get comfortable within the confines of this building with what you say to me, because
Right.
eventually we leave the confines of this building. You feel
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, real talk. Like, you have to really let people know. And so he's like, there's a reason, as much as I hate to say it, to push an old woman down a flight of stairs. It's just you show reasons and restraints and not do it. So yeah, like I don't want to put his business out there, but like I remember when we were younger, like, yeah, you could lose your life over disrespecting somebody's woman. Real talk. You could straight
Yep.
like, and that's not to say that that's everybody's environment and mentality is different. That's why you have to watch what you say to people. That's why you got to watch how you talk to people, because you don't know
Hmm.
what other people are going through. You don't know, that you may be pushing buttons for triggers you didn't install in people. So,
Right.
yeah, be easy. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I think the environment is different.
I think we lost Kim.
Oh, oh. Kimberly, call us back.
But no,
But
but you know what? To piggyback off of what she's saying, that what that could have been the straw, not knowing what people are
mm,
going through, because we're looking at this. These are still human beings, and their life plays out on a national, global platform. Where ours, we just got to deal with the bullshit comments from our family. Saying, "I can't believe you did this. I can't believe this is going on." That's what we have to deal with.
right,
You know what I mean?
right,
But
right.
we don't necessarily understand and recognize what they go through, because it is on a global stage, and it does have to be. I mean, I can imagine the comments that I get in my DMs, and I'm quote unquote nobody.
Mm.
I can't imagine the comments that they're getting.
Oh,
The
trust me,
the
I
negativity.
yeah, trust me, I've been there and done that.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yes.
and at many times I could have reacted differently. I could have done some things
Sometimes
that
you
I really
should
wanted to do,
have.
but I didn't because I did not want to show my kids that that's
Mhm.
how you react in situations. I did not want to show that to them, even though I could have, because in my younger days, trust and believe, I did a lot of things that I regret to this day. But, you know, being an adult and being a parent, you have a whole nother other set of responsibilities to your kids.
So so that was one of the questions that came up. How do you explain your position of don't allow anyone to bully you, and if somebody hits you first, you hit them back, as opposed to this is not how you handle a situation like that? As a
Um,
parent, how do you explain that?
me and my daughter actually talked before this,
Mhm.
and she said to me, she said, there's some things that should be done in certain ways. She said, I don't think that Chris Rock was right in what he said. She said, but I don't think that he was right to go and hit him for it. She said, in no terms anybody should be subject to being um, assaulted like that.
Humiliating.
Right.
Right.
And
Okay.
and for her, it was kind of like, she said it was a moment, she said, that was really kind of embarrassing. Because,
It was very
yeah,
embarrassing.
and she said, and once you do something, you can't take it back. And you can't. It's no way to take it back. And, when he got up there and did his apology, he didn't apologize to Chris Rock. He
Because
apologized
he
to the
meant
academy and everybody else in the audience.
because he meant it. Now
Yeah.
living in the culture that we live in, I am, and people are not going to agree with me, but I am tired of people saying shit and then coming back and apologizing for it,
Right.
because you meant it, your heart meant it, Your mind meant it, and that is how you felt at the time. Now, you can apologize for speaking your thoughts out loud, but I'm not going to apologize for actually saying what it is I feel, which is why I like my new platform, Shut Your Ass Up, because you can subscribe. If you don't like what I say, you can unsubscribe.
Right,
So,
right.
but that's how
But
I feel. And we live in this world of the political correctness, and I get it. As a black woman, and the culture that we live in now, I understand and recognize it, but I'm tired of people apologizing for their true feelings. He felt that way. I apologize for hitting you. I shouldn't have done it on a national platform, but I'm not going to stand for your disrespect. And
right
that's how I handle it. May
now,
not have been right, but that's it.
but on the other hand, Chris
Okay.
Rock is a comedian. He's a comedian. So I mean, comedians, that's what they do. That's their craft. That's like sitting in the front row of a comedy show and dare the comedian to say something about you.
Which is why I don't sit in the front row of a comedy
Exactly.
show. You know,
Right?
the
Exactly.
first thing I can see them
Right.
saying
Mhm.
something is look at this girl,
Right.
and I mean, no,
That's
You
no,
it.
got to
uh-uh.
understand the assignment.
Right. And my thing is, I have comedian friends, very good comedian friends, who are a beast at their craft. But I would never want them to get up and literally do their job, something that they make their livelihood out of, and be
And get
assaulted
slapped for
for
it.
it. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
one of those comedians came for a Harris girl one time long ago when they just started out. And they came for a Harris girl. Now, if y'all know the Harris girls are plus size women. We got booty and everything else. And one of us happened to walk in front of them and they cracked a joke. You talking about the Harris girls standing up and shutting the place down? Like, who the F you think you talking to? And
oh
kind of
wow.
like change. Oh, no, no, we don't play that. We don't play that. We don't play that. We'll play the dozens with you though. So we are ready for it and we're prepared for it. So no, I don't sit in the front of it, but I get it. You make fun of people. You're making jokes at other people's expense. But alopecia, to see her on her Instagram and on her Facebook pages crying about how the bald spots are, her hair is all patchy and whatnot. It I guess it humanized her in a certain way. I'm all over the place with this because he was wrong, but I get it. But he shouldn't have done it on that platform. But I
I
understand. I
think
mean, you're
that's
just
it.
like,
I think at the end of the day, everybody understands that Chris Rock was inappropriate. However, the way that Will Smith, being Will Smith in this arena, chose to handle it was equally inappropriate. Period. Chris Rock
Yeah.
could have said, he could have gave Will Smith could have gave an opportunity to educate the world on the issue of Black women and their hair and alopecia and why it's important. And he chose
Right.
not. He
Right.
chose to just laugh.
Right. Right. It was a teachable moment. It really was. In the same way, like I say, Cory Booker educated a lot of people out there. He gave them. He said, "Hey, like that should have been a moment that he should have addressed it in a manner that would have made people think, at least in a way where, because I mean, for me, afterwards, I even when he got up and he said that, I was just like, I don't even feel. I mean, come on, man, you gonna sit up here and cry? What you crying for? Like what you crying for? Like I felt
You had
moved.
me.
but you know what? That was the other thing that because this woman on my page said to me, she was like, I would not want my man to express to rest in his feminine energy in that way. My man is fully masculine, so I would want him to be masculine and handle that in a different way. I'm like, I expect my man, and listen, I've dated some dudes who would drop out of the sky on somebody for me, so I know exactly what it is that somebody can do. But I want him to defend me. I'll talk to you about it later. Like you shouldn't have. You ain't had to slap him like that. Like I was like, you ain't had to go out there and slap him like that. I appreciate what you did, but the way in which he did it, and now you see what our super producer just sent us, right?
No, what she sent us, I didn't.
Our super producer Always on the job. Always on the
Yeah,
job.
I know. Is
She
she?
just
She
sent
is.
us
She does.
she just sent us a note from the Shade Room
Okay.
saying that Will Smith did a formal apology, and it reads, "Violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are a part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong and I am embarrassed, and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. I would also like to apologize to the Academy, the producers of the show. That's for Will Packer because he produced it. Um, all the attendees and everyone watching around the world, I would like to apologize to the Williams family and my King Richard family. I deeply regret that my behavior has stained what has been an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us. I am a work in progress. Sincerely, Will. Thoughts?
I mean, it's appropriate. That's what he should have said. That's what when they say the M word. But I have a quick question.
Okay. So they.
I
So
want to get
okay.
off.
Listen. I listen. He apologized. I will give him that. But the one they talking about taking his award,
Hmm?
they were talking about taking his award. I
Well,
said,
let me say
saw
this.
that.
Kimberly, no, Kimberly, you had a question. So go ahead, Kimberly.
Well, no, it's more about the. It goes to what you were talking about the Katana Brown. Um. So before I don't want to switch topics, but yeah.
We were saying that we April was actually saying how Corey went up and rather than cuss out those Republican bastards that was actually denigrating her by
Exactly.
asking her questions completely unrelated
Right.
to anything related
Right.
to the Supreme Court. He went up and just said that you deserve to be here. He actually had me in tears because
Oh yeah, I was. Oh, he had me in
very
tears.
moving,
Yeah.
very moving and touching speech. But April was saying that she kept her composure under all of that. She didn't break. She did break on that, but all of those questions that they asked, like when that woman asked her, "What was it to be a woman?" She said, "I'm not a biologist." I was like, boom.
Mm.
Because that question is different for everybody. The three of us here all have a different meaning of what it means to be a woman.
Mhm.
So you can't ask one woman that, and it's going to define it for every woman because that would have been the soundbite.
Right.
KBJ thinks that a woman is XYZ.
Right.
To me, a woman is a person born as a woman with a coochie and ovaries and fallopian tubes.
A
Well, I mean,
female.
I think she was trying to pull out of her what's it like being a black woman. I don't think she said it, but
She should have said it.
I think that was her thing. And my thing is, unless you are a black woman, you don't know.
You don't know.
Mhm.
You have no
You don't
idea.
know.
No
They don't
idea.
understand that we look at the world out of two different lenses.
I remember we
There's a
had our
white
old
lens and
and when I was in grad school, one of my classes, the women who were white would ask me like, "Why do you always answer your questions from like as a black woman?" I'm like, "Because I'm a black woman." Like, I don't think you understand.
Sorry.
Oh,
oh,
no,
Sorry.
I just
Sorry.
think that they don't understand what we go through and how we view the world and how the world views us. Like, there's no getting away from the fact that I'm a black woman. No matter what,
Mhm.
at least in America. But the thing about the whole confirmation that I really value was the way that her husband at the end embraced her and kissed her on her forehead, and people were in their feelings about that. But that symbolized everything to me. Like he sat there and watched his wife get belittled, demeaned, and disrespected,
Mhm.
and she held her own. And the
Mhm.
only thing he did when she stood up was like, "I know you got this, but I got you." Who don't want that?
That's what that kiss solidified or signified to me, was like, I got you. And no words
Yeah,
needed to be spoken.
yo, that was
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But you know what the other thing is, that they look at us as a monolithic group. Again, I said that they normalize that we all do the same thing.
Right.
So now that we had Lee Boyd Malvo, now all of our boys are going to be in the back of somebody's vehicles as a sniper. We all know when that happened, every person knew that that person didn't look like us.
Right.
It was a shock that went around the world when
It
it was
was.
like, they black.
It was. It was. It was.
It's like, what? This nigga done, like,
Right.
he did.
But yeah, a lot of people say, well, it shouldn't be like that, but it is like that.
It is
It
like
is
that.
like that. And it's sad that it's like that, but it is. Because I can imagine, you know, somebody of left wing, right wing, or whatever saying, see, I told you. They don't know how to act when they're in certain situations. Look, see, and now it's just like, oh, wow. Okay. Something else we got to
But
deal with.
again, that's again there. That brush should be Will Smith got out of line, not every black man. And we're talking about, Chris Rock didn't know, when we say that Hollywood is a big city but a small town, and
Right.
you can't tell me that all the brothers and sisters aren't on some quote unquote chitlin circuit in some way, shape, or form. We know it exists because Oprah showed it exists when she did her brunch and didn't invite none of them. Remember that?
I do remember that.
Remember that?
I do remember
Cicely
that.
Tyson and Felicia Rashad, she invited the OGs with the new girls,
Yeah.
and it was just for them.
Right.
Like,
Right.
so
Yeah.
we know that there is a circuit. We know that there is value within the black community within Hollywood. I'm sure there were whispers,
Of course.
but this has been an unfortunate stain on everybody that was there, because that's how they're gonna view it. It's gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna look bad on us.
It
And
is.
they said that next year is gonna go back to Oscar so white.
Well, I will say that,
So
Yeah.
and I don't see harm, but it's kind of like the Republicans now and politics. Fuck them. They're gonna say what they say. They're hypocritical. I'm being real though. You know what I mean? After a
you
while,
are, you are, you
Yeah.
are.
you have to stop saying that. Oh, it's just them. Like, fuck them. Keep it moving. Like,
Right.
you can say and do whatever you want. I remember when recently I got awarded the Food Network when we first opened said we were #1 in the state. We win awards
I saw
every year,
that.
but yet when I go to buy a building, I have someone who's concerned because she's saying, well, do you ever feel threatened or because you're a black woman in a male-dominated field? I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, it's less than 7% of women on restaurants and less than 3% of minority. Where you get them statistics from? Every kitchen I go to got a black woman in it. Like, I don't understand that. So you can't tell
Because
me.
the black woman is in the kitchen, she don't own the business. That is a difference. She's not the
Okay.
owner of the. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I know what they're trying to ask you is, how are you moving throughout that world? How you're navigating the microaggressions? Because I'm sure you're either seeing it overtly or covertly. And the
Oh
microaggressions,
yeah.
which is what she just did to you, was a microaggression. Trying to be understanding, but not really understanding. The
Yeah.
question is, how the hell did you get the money to do the shit that you're doing? That's
Yeah.
what we need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the
That part.
question.
That
Where's the
part.
money coming from?
Right. That part. Yeah.
Who's
Because
your backer?
But
Because
even
it can't
if
just be you
I'm
and
to a
Cuda.
conference
It's not just you
and a
and Cuda.
guy
It's got to be
sits down
somebody.
to tell me that I was eloquent and spoke so well and get my point across, I could not make that shit up. If you
That
could
is
see my face,
microaggression.
if you could have seen my
That's
face though,
that
I
is.
can make it.
That's the microaggression. But listen,
Yeah.
everybody's thinking
But
that
that's why
this is going to
this
taint.
critical race theory, we should do a show just on critical race theory. Because that's why
Okay.
it's so important. I get so sick of our people talking about I don't want this slave movie or I don't, I don't want to do that shit about make us sad and make us no. The Holocaust, like we've had these conversations. The Holocaust is presented in a way to keep it fresh in the minds of their young people, so that they understand where they came from, the struggles, and so forth.
But they do that every Friday. We don't do it. We
Mhm.
used to all, as a community, as a family, every Sunday, as a family, we would get together. We don't do that. We can't even get the family to eat on a Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. So
We
you know what
can't
I'm
get a
saying?
family to
But
get around
every
the dinner around the table for dinner.
exactly, but every Friday, and I worked for a synagogue for 4 years, almost 5 years. Every Friday, without fail, and you will not forget it.
Yeah.
You won't. They will not allow you to forget it. They bring in Holocaust survivors to talk to the children, show them the tattoos on their arms with the numbers to make them not forget. Let's forget slavery. Let's forget that. We forget that I'll be 55 in June, and it's only been since 1965 that we had the Civil Rights Act passed.
Yeah.
So it's not that long ago.
No, it's not.
So you can't forget it when it's less than 100 years, it's less than 60 years or 70 years ago.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm getting passionate. I know I'm
No,
getting
it
loud.
is.
People
It
gonna say
is.
it's too much.
It
This
is,
shit just
and that's
it
one.
sets me off. It
We
sets me
don't.
off.
Yeah, we don't teach our kids. We don't, and that's why
We
I make
don't.
a point to make sure my daughters know
Mm-hmm.
who fought, who shed blood for you to be able to have some of the freedoms that you have right now. There's a lot of moments that I think we as parents, as black people, there are teachable moments, and I think we miss it. I really do. I think we miss it. And I'm not saying everybody, but I think that with things going on now, like even us here in Baltimore, Maryland, with the killings and shootings and like, I mean, come on.
The 13 and 14 in a damn weekend. And
Like,
and and you know what? It's not just Baltimore. Annapolis is getting the same way.
yeah,
People know. They know who's doing this shit. You laying with them, you got children with them. They're your sons and your grandsons and your nephews and your cousins. You know who these people are. I really knock on wood. I thank God that my parents had a plan. I thank God my parents had a plan. Even if they didn't have a plan, they had a plan. You know what I'm saying? To raise us in an environment free of that.
right,
But we have children in a constant state of trauma,
That's
getting
it.
people killed, watching people die, walking down the street to get a soda from the corner store and coming across a dead body. And you
right,
wonder why they act out in school. You don't know the trauma these kids are going
right.
through. It's not ADHD, it's
No,
sorrow, it's grief, it's pain, it's trauma.
right.
But it's okay for our kids to be traumatized,
Yeah,
Of
of
but
course.
not
just like
yours.
we carry more pain than they in terms of how we're treated. Like it's the same thing. But yep.
Well, let me tell you something about Will Smith. One thing I know about Will is the king of self reflection. His apology has already shown some of it. So I can see Will taking this entire event and pivoting into a self-help series for brothers on the
Well,
aggressions that we as black men have to deal with on a daily basis, the cultural conditioning of our skin being weaponized just because we're black, the belief that we're a monolithic group. I can see Will taking this shit to a whole nother level. I can see him
well,
doing that.
well, you know what? And in the event that he does do that, I would applaud him for that because anytime you take a moment and make it a teachable moment, I applaud anybody who does that because that's the moment to actually say, hey, this was wrong. This is what
Hmm.
I've been through in my life, and I should not have acted out in the way that I did. So, if he does that, and make it a teachable moment, then I applaud him. I really do. I hope he does.
I mean, I can't see him not doing it. I think he will lick his wounds for a minute. I think he'll pull back. Everybody retreats. But I think it's gonna be a red table talk. I see that
Oh,
coming.
you are.
If it didn't happen, listen, if it didn't happen today, that shit is coming sometime this
Oh
week.
yeah,
But there will
yeah.
be a red table talk. And maybe that table will be extended to Chris to come and have that conversation. Because that's probably what the world is
Needs
going
to
to have to
see.
see.
They need to see
These
it.
two brothers, that these two brothers putting the shit behind them to
Exactly.
say,
And talking about it.
and
Talking
listen,
about what
and
the
talking
issue
about it.
is. What the issue is, because there's more to this than just what
Yes,
happened last night.
yes,
It really
yes,
is.
yes,
And I
yes.
think it should be a moment where they sit down and talk rationally and be open and honest and say, hey, listen, this is why I reacted the way I did. And they understanding and hearing each other, because
Right.
it doesn't help if we don't actually listen to each other.
I think bringing in the perspective of protecting the black woman is also a bigger conversation. That black men, like you were talking earlier, Ceci, about how everything on the internet now is a degradation of black women,
Hmm.
primarily by like black men. I don't know if it's bots or whatever, but that's a conversation to be held about the protection of black women.
We actually did a show on Women's Talk Live. Was it last season or the season before last? Like black women, and April found a statistic that we are the most unprotected species on earth. There's
Oh, I
no
believe that.
one less protected than the black woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then to see black men have no value, and that whole thing started for me because this 44-year-old woman did a TikTok where she was talking to black men, and she was saying that if she got like a side dude or doing whatever, it's none of your business what she does with him. She was 44, saying she wanted to get married, and the comments from the black men. And I'm saying to myself, we can't be independent, have our own shit, and do what the fuck adults are supposed to do, because then we act like we don't need you from resting in our feminine energy and resting in our masculine energy. But on the other side, you can't be ratchet with a whole bunch of baby daddies, because now you have no fucking ambition and we don't want you. So where do we win?
That's a
Because we
little
rock
Dirk.
with y'all.
What I just tell you, April, about little Dirk making a comment about the young lady he's engaged to has a low body count. But
How the fuck he
he
know she got a low body count?
she says she has low body.
Okay,
But
we all said it.
that's not
Listen,
for me
I
to
had,
judge.
oh
I
my
don't
God,
know.
girl. When a man, and that was what the men were saying. If you are 44 years old and lost your virginity at the age of 14 or 15, and you've been having sex from the age of 15 to 44, you got more than one goddamn person.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
the only virgins that they making are the ones that are popping out of coochies as we speak right now. And they ain't gonna be virgins for long.
you're right. No,
Shit.
you're
Man,
right.
kill me with
That's
that
true.
shit.
But my thing is that, listen, you have women out here who just, they do what they want to do. They don't care. They do what they want to do. But you have men out here, because they're quick to be called hoes. How about these men out here? These men out here sleeping with this
Exactly.
one, that one, and that one. I don't want no hoish man. Come on now. Like, come on. Like, you with this woman this week, and then you gonna come over here to me. Then you with this other woman over across
Mhm.
town, and then you with over the state line with another woman, and then you what?
She said state line.
I
But
mean,
they don't want to admit that. Listen, as a grown woman, she has the right to be with and do whatever she wants. But I tell women, and I've said this, and you've heard me say it as sassy, no one knows what you're doing unless you tell them. They can assume whatever they want, but no
mhm.
one knows it. But for him, I want a woman with a low body count. And you probably out here fucking everything in every city that you stop in.
Yeah, yeah.
With a name like, let me look this dude up, because that don't even sound like it's attractive and whatnot. You know what
And,
I'm saying?
and,
Like, let
and,
me
and,
look it
and
up.
I agree. How does he know? Like, literally, how
Now,
does he know?
he doesn't know. You don't know. And they what they say when a woman tells you how many men she slept with, multiply by 10, you can multiply that bitch by 10. Wouldn't make a difference to me because you know what I'm saying? You don't know.
You don't.
But at 55, and I had an ex that had a major issue with the fact that I had a life before him. Because he was like, where'd you learn this at? Who told you how to do this? How many men you did with this? Where you do this from? And I'm like, just be happy you benefit from the shit. You know, but he was in his head every time I touched him. I'm like, no, I
Yeah.
can't. I'm not used to vanilla. I need a lot of flavor. Like this is too vanilla, but you can't worry about that. And
Yeah.
Little Dirk is the type of person, if he sees a TV show, say she watches that Goop special on Netflix or the Principles of Pleasure on the Orgasm Gap. Say she watches that and learns a new trick. He's going to be asking her, where did you learn this from?
Yeah.
How did you get this? Who did you do this to? Who did this to you?
So what happens if
Ah,
I ask
you
you the same
got my
questions?
pressure up.
How you know about this? Who
Huh?
taught you this? What chick did this to you?
Yeah,
Like
right.
then it would be like you looking at us like
Yes.
what? I tell you, man, let me tell you.
Are you kidding me?
It's,
This is this this is this is who wants a body count? Are you this is the shit?
uh,
Oh, you
Y'all
must have
young
said,
girls, y'all got you not had to find it.
oh
Y'all young
god.
girls got to do better. And
Oh.
maybe that's our fault. Maybe that's our fault and not teaching our young girls more about character. Because you got women that this whole high value man thing ain't got shit to do with money, all to do with character and
girl, you better
manners.
out.
Mhm.
It's all about character. You can have, I know a whole bunch of wealthy assholes that I wouldn't spit on if they were on fire.
Exactly. Exactly.
Your money don't mean shit to me. You can make it a mattress in your coffin and take it
Right.
with you because I done told
Right.
people that shit.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yo, speaking of that, I have a friend who makes the comment that his woman could never make more than him, which to me is insane because you're
He's
speaking
a
to a woman
bitch.
who grinds, who socializes with women who grind. So we work just like you work, but for the assumption to be that you need to make more money for you to make all of the decisions, already you have the you got shit fucked up from the gate.
Well, his mindset is mired in how much money he make is part of who makes what makes him a man. Because I remember
Mhm.
when my father was living and we had conversations, he said he could never understand how men didn't get the fact that if she's winning, we winning.
Right.
If
Exactly.
if she's making the money coming to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he
Exactly.
didn't understand. He did not understand that mentality. He
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah. It's and it's sometimes it's hard for men to see that. Because
I
I
think it's
mean,
these new age men that these
yeah.
women are raising.
It is, and you know, it's especially in the business that I'm in. Sometimes it's hard for um, men to either support it or take it seriously, or even take me seriously. You know,
Right.
but you know, and then in my business, I have to work with various people. I have to work with men. I have to work with women. In the industry that I'm in, mostly it's men. Um, but if I'm with somebody, it doesn't mean that I'm dealing with somebody else. Like if I'm with somebody, I'm with somebody. Plain and simple. But a lot of men
Are insecure.
will very
They're
insecure,
insecure.
and will think
I can
that
think of one that
you're
comes to
you're
mind.
doing this, that, and the third. Like I remember
It is a
being
whorish industry that
right.
we're in.
I remember being yeah, it is. I remember being in the cigar bar, and one of them and one of the men made a comment because I said, I go out of the country, and one of the men made a comment. Um, well, if you were my lady, I wouldn't approve of that. And I looked at him, I was just like, approve of what? I said, approve of what? I
Wait.
was like,
Like he wouldn't let you go?
yeah,
Like
it was just, and I'm looking at
he
him
wouldn't
like,
let you go?
approve. And I was just like,
He said, approve.
I was like, okay. I said, well, then you need to be, I said, well, then that's probably why you with a different kind of woman
You
that
want
goes for that shit.
that? As my sister Stacy
Wrong
would
with
say,
that.
give me
Women,
be a
who
bitch.
appreciate that, but appreciate the fact that women, we got dreams and want to hustle and grind and build. Like, it makes me so frustrated that, like, you guys know, I'm real domesticated. I'm real,
Yup.
oh, shut up. But real,
Yup.
I'm more
I
traditional
remember you
in my
said
role.
he the CEO, you the COO, or something like that.
Yeah, I'm traditional in my role, but
Yes, you are.
you have to understand that the same little light that God gave you, I got one. There's a fire in me. There's a hustle in me. I'm working towards something. And how DMX say, let me out the gate. I'm gonna come back home, but you gotta let me go do me and not be threatened.
Right,
Right.
right.
So
Well,
that's
I
you know,
mean, well, yeah. Hey, listen. I'm happily divorced, but in my marriage, I was the CEO, the CFO, whatever, you know. But I think being in that world, it taught me um, how to completely understand um, people and how their actions, how they were. It gave me a little bit more insight to certain people, especially in that industry. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people put celebrities and on these pedestals and not really realizing that a lot of these celebrities are they got to sit on the toilet the same way we do, and they react to things in different ways. Now they have different responsibilities than the ordinary person, but outside of that, I just think that we put too many people on certain on too many
Well,
pedestals.
I've had to. I actually have to say that in all of the book journey, the radio, the TV, the podcasting, I have yet to run across somebody, and I'm gonna say a man who hasn't said your little TV show or your little podcast or your
Girl,
little radio show
I hate
to
that.
to belittle to belittle what it is that I'm doing. If they was like, well, I want to do this, I'm like, Monday and Tuesdays, I record my podcast. On the weekends, I may be taping all day for the TV show. It's things that I gotta do, things that I want to do, things that I love doing. You either get on board or you don't. And out of all of the men that I've ever dealt with or deal with or see, it's only one that not only does he subscribe to everything that I do and is supportive of it, but he gives me the positive feedback. Like, you know
Mhm,
what, you lost your train of thought on this one. You should have said XYZ. And I appreciate that. The other people, they've never listened. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? They never supported and they never
mhm.
had time.
And
So I'm with you on that.
that's the
When a
key.
man tells me, oh, because the one dude said, well, you got to be masculine to do what you do. I said, yeah, to do the talk show, I do have to rest in my masculine energy.
Right.
I said, but that doesn't mean I don't know how to be feminine.
Right. And that's the
But
key.
you
That's
take it
the
how you
key.
take it.
Right. That's the key as far as being supportive. You want that one
Mm-hmm.
person that can be open and honest with you, but in the same sense be supportive and not tear you down. Like
Right.
if they're giving you feedback it's not to tear you down, it's to build you up. And I think
Right.
as women, especially in certain industries, or even or building a business, or having that drive, that hustle, you know, it if anything, it helps when you do have somebody that wholeheartedly supports you. They're not
Mm-hmm.
jealous of what you do. They're not looking at
Exactly.
you sideways when you say, "Hey, listen, I got to go out of town and do this, or I got to, go here, or like you said, I have to do my podcast." Like they respect that. And they be like,
Right.
okay, cool. It's a difference when you have that. And when you don't have it, then that's when you're like, you know what, this shit ain't working for me. And I
I
have been there.
I was in mixed company, and I was telling one of the I had a multiple
Your
caterer
phone
job
keeps
back
breaking
in
up,
the day.
Kimberly.
Hold on.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. So I had multiple catering jobs, and it was like a 7 in the morning and two like 10 and 10:30. So, once I'm done, I go to get something to eat. I see my girlfriend, and I'm like, yo, I did the damn thing today. I got my catering out. It was this, it was that. And the dude, she was gonna say, oh, you need to humble yourself. You bragging.
What?
Yo, when I say, I was like, so my own personal quote is, I choose to be humble, but I earn the right to brag. You can't tell me about my hustle. You don't walk in my shoes. You don't know why I'm congratulating myself. You don't know what I went through to get them orders out. So yeah, you better Google me.
Yeah,
Yeah, it did.
yeah.
Girl, you better Google me. That's a good one. Because I tell people quick, just Google Sassy Scribe, all my shit will come up.
Mhm.
I mean, seriously, if you Google Sassy Scribe, everything will come up.
Mhm.
The top, the most, the podcast that has the most streams, all of those will pop up. The ones that have, caused me to break the internet and shut the server down at the network, all of those things, they will show up.
Right, right,
I'm not going to explain myself to you. You have to get to know me. Sassy is a sum of my parts. It's not all of who I am.
right, right.
But if all you see is somebody, this black woman who's opinionated,
Hmm.
and as I was told, loud and obnoxious, then that's all you're going to see.
Those are some of my favorite qualities about you.
Wait a minute. What you say, Kim?
I said those are some of my favorite qualities about you.
Right.
Yeah, exactly,
And that's
exactly.
what I love about me too.
Right, right, exactly. And I think at the end of the day, if we did more of supporting each other and tearing each other down, then maybe we wouldn't be in the boat that we in right now.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, that part, that part.
See that right there.
But
Listen,
it was
we all go through our shit, and you never know what's going on. You know what I'm
right.
saying? We smile on the outside, but it's plenty of days that I sitting here and cry.
Hmm.
But
Oh, I'm with you.
you gotta give
I'm
that
with you on
strong
that.
persona. But sometimes it's hard to do everything. You're
Right.
producing, you're thinking of show topics, you're reaching out to guests, you're writing show scripts, all of you're editing, you're filming, all of that stuff. It is a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. I
It's a
think
lot.
people don't understand the work
They don't.
that goes into. They just see, you know,
Behind the scenes.
yeah. They don't really see exactly what it is that you have to do, what it is that you have to prepare, and
Hmm.
it is work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of nights
It's a
that
lot of work.
I probably most nights I only get 3 to 4 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Because outside
Yeah.
of me
Welcome
trying
to
to
my
do my
world.
right, outside of me trying to, run my business, I work full time. I still, I take care of my parents. Still have two daughters, even though they're
Two
no longer
daughters.
with me. They moved out. I still have to be a mother. That doesn't end when they move. I still have to be a mom. So like I I don't need anybody coming in and saying, "Oh, well, you shouldn't really be doing this." So like, like being critical in a way that's not helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So
You gotta add
right,
value. You got if you're gonna criticize, then add the, like I said, he'll say, you lost your train of thought. I heard it, and you needed
right,
to do this, that, and the other. Or we'll sit down and flesh out a whole show and I'll record it. So I need somebody that's gonna bring the value, see the value,
right,
and add value.
exactly.
Don't take away from it. Don't make me have to sage your ass like I had to do the last person. Don't make me sage you and do 3 vaginal steams to get you out of the whole system.
Girl, I've
Oh
done
my.
those. I've done that. I had to get rid of
The
17 years. I did
yes,
that.
yes,
So do they work?
yes, you have to.
Oh yeah, they do.
Mhm.
They do. Trust and believe they do.
But you know what? I had this conversation Saturday, and he was like, "Do you think it works?" Because he saw my sage, and I said, "Yeah." He's like, "I don't believe it." I said, "See, you don't believe in it. I believe in it." I said, "I anoint every corner." I said, "I need to sage you. I can feel I can feel. Let me sage you. Let me sage you." Like, I ain't doing that shit. I ain't doing that shit. But yeah, but I believe in it. But I
Right.
believe in it. You
Right.
don't have to. I feel the
Exactly.
same way about my waist beads. I feel the same way about um with the sage and the waist beads, the manifestation, all of that stuff. I wholeheartedly believe in it. So
Right.
maybe we'll need to manifest that his ass is in the Maldives or something.
Right.
For now, let's just go. He got the money to go away and hide out for 6 months. Come back in June with a new summer hit or something. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. He'll come back. Yeah.
he'll come back.
He'll bounce back
He's
from it.
not going anywhere.
No, he's
He
not.
loves Jada. He
Hmm.
loves Jada. I think
Well,
it's
that's.
and I think he loves Jada.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna say that. Not a lot of men. I don't care how open the marriage is, because I know plenty of people who did the open marriage thing and the shit didn't work on his end. She was fine.
Well, that's the thing.
but it
That's the thing.
but it didn't work on right, but it didn't work on his end. So for Will to know that August isn't the first, and I don't know if he'll be the last. Who knows what's going on now? Maybe instead of that open thing, maybe they closed it. you know, who knows? But it's
Grand open.
hard to.
Grand
But
open.
not only that, though, you gotta look at the fact that it's not just the people in the world talking about it. His boy's like, man, yo, for real, you really be letting dudes run up in your girl like that? I mean, can you like? I can see the conversations that the brothers are having. And even in a jest or joke, and all truths are said in jest, yeah, Will's bitch ass got Jada out here spread out with, you know, like
Well, hey, listen, they said the same thing about Lala, didn't they?
La La with Carmelo.
Yes. They said the same thing about
Really?
her. That's
Let me
always
say
been a
this.
running joke. That always
I'm
been
gonna
a
say
running
this.
joke.
Women are, and y'all are
Why
gonna
do
get
men
mad at me,
feel
ladies.
stay out
I've done
for the
several
rest?
podcasts on it, but you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say. Women are whores for money. Period. End of story. Not all women,
Yeah.
some women.
Yeah.
I have seen April when we did a live taping at Horseshoe Casino,
Yeah.
and that velvet rope set women off. Who
Yeah.
is that over? It's nobody. It's just us. But they are trying to figure out who we are and what is it that they can get from us. So they're laughing and grinning and kikiing in the dudes' faces. The other day, I've seen how women react when a camera is turned on them.
Mhm.
15 minutes of fame. The only one, and I'm going to say this, and people may not agree with it, the only person who used the platform for what it was Cardi B. Cardi took her ass
Oh
on
yeah.
the damn TV show, and now Cardi B is a household name. She understood the assignment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody
True.
else on there is still trying to get to where Cardi is. Cardi used that platform to get what she needed to do, and she was laser focused on that. Everybody else got on that platform. They're like, this is it. I'm getting $15,000 an episode. This is it. And they were fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
Cardi wanted more.
Yeah. And you
The
can't be mad
assignment.
at her. You can't be mad at her for wanting more.
Huh?
And you can't be mad at her wanting more.
Oh, I
But
can't
you're
be mad.
right.
I'm not mad
You're
at her at
right.
all.
But you
I
have
like
a
her
lot of these women
transformation.
out
I,
How
here.
she
I like Cardi from day
everything.
one because she was authentically herself.
Yeah.
This is
Yep.
me, like me or not. And she
Right.
didn't give a shit. And that's what I liked about her. Her
Yeah.
authenticity. She
Yeah.
wasn't fake like everybody else.
Yeah. But
The
You know, I
only
she
in our
quoted
community.
I quoted Cardi B. I spoke at Confident UB's Honor Society convocation, and
Uh-huh.
I quoted Cardi B with the D
Which-
in the audience.
Oh, oh,
But the
wait,
thing
wait.
about it was, it's for
What did
it's
you
a human
quote?
services degree. No, well, I have a dual master's in human services,
Right.
and the thing about it is, when you work in that field, like the quote that I used was, she said that I wanted it so bad, I prayed for it. To my surprise, God replied that you're made for it. That's some deep shit.
Yep.
When you really look at it, and it doesn't matter who says it, that's real on any level.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And that's what,
Yeah.
that's what I respect about her. Like her authenticity, her grind, where she came from. Yo, when you come from the dirt, them nutrients that's in that soil, shit, you
Yeah.
don't get that in no miracle grow.
Right.
But you know what?
I'm telling
You're absolutely right though. When you got that hunger and that drive, and I remember Steve Harvey said he never want to be sleeping in his car again.
you. Mm-hmm.
Tyler Perry, I'm never gonna be this. I'm never gonna be in this position again. And they've made sure that they are not in that position and
Right.
setting the up for generational wealth, and that includes teaching them about money,
Right.
which is another
Exactly.
thing. It's
We
another thing
don't
that
do
we
it.
don't do.
We don't.
We
We
don't do
don't.
it.
We don't. We
Well,
don't.
you
We
can't say
don't.
that
And
because you're saying all
we
this
were
stuff
late to the
yourself.
game in our
Our
40s
goal,
and 50s. We were late to
your
the game
family
in our
does
40s and
foundation
50s.
scholarships. That's not true. Some the people who do are out here making noise about it. Your family do shit where do stuff. I'm working. In progress. Your family does stuff where you're looking out for generational. So you can't say that it doesn't exist. You exist. You do it. It's not like
That's true.
6 degrees of separation from somebody who does it. April does it. I do it. I'm sure the people we roll with are trying to do those same things too. It's just that we're not the ones in the news.
Right.
That you know what? That's very true. And see, that was another thing about Prince. Prince did a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it back to Prince, whatever y'all want to think. But
Hey, bring it. Bring
Prince
it. Bring
did
Prince on there.
right.
Well, look,
He did a lot of philanthropic work, but he didn't need the accolades for it.
He didn't.
He didn't need that.
the
He would send the money and say, I want this to do this, this, that, and the other. He didn't need to be like Oprah and I'm gonna build a school and the world needs to know it. That's how Oprah did it. But on the low, Oprah does
my
shit that
facts and
people
figures.
don't know about.
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
So
It's
I
all.
think
It's all about. It's all
everything
about
isn't
giving back.
news. You know,
Yeah.
we're
It's all.
sitting here, I feel like we're sitting here and we're doing this live, and I'm grateful for it. But the economy is shit. We got a
Sex
World
trafficking.
War III about to spark off. We got race relations at an all-time low. It's a lot of shit going on, but
Right.
we're talking about the slap heard around the world. And I think
Exactly.
it's important as a black community
Right.
to have this conversation.
Yeah.
And
I'm
as
so
black
glad you
women.
said that. Because Black News Network just got canceled. The Black News Channel?
What?
Yep.
Wow.
See?
So
Wow.
that goes right to the point.
But the Black News Channel, again, wasn't really black owned.
No.
Well.
It wasn't
Yeah,
black owned.
maybe it's
Well.
BET,
Yeah. BET is no longer black owned.
Well, BET
92
was not black. Well, it was black owned,
It
but then,
was.
the divorce happened and all that
Yeah.
other stuff. But
Yeah.
that's what we need to do. We need to go down to the salamander. Go down to the salamander. Say, hey,
Oh man.
Sheila, girl,
Oh
what's going
man.
on? I
Oh
don't
man,
know,
this
but
is this is
this
this
was
this
good.
has
This was
been
good.
really really good, really really
Yes.
nice. It reminds me back of when we had Women's Talk Radio.
Yep.
I think the chemistry between us was just amazing. Only person we missing is Kenda. So
Yeah,
hopefully Kenda has a lot going on right now. I'm
Yes,
super
she
proud of
does. It's
her.
beautiful. It's
And
beautiful.
hopefully we can get her to maybe just kind of come and be a
the
guest.
God.
Yeah,
We need to hook up. We need to
we
meet,
do.
get some food, and get some
Hey,
drinks,
Right,
and
come
we
see
do.
me. I already sent y'all
look.
where I'm at.
Okay, we
Where's your
got
restaurant at
we
now?
got you.
Do you have a
No, I'm
temporary? Do you
doing
have
cake.
temporary digs?
You coming to my house?
Oh shit!
Okay, okay. Long as you got sticky wings for me, I'm
Look,
there.
sticky wings and drinks. I'll bring a bottle. Look, I'll bring a bottle. Bring a
Me too.
bottle.
All right, let's make it happen.
All right. So listen, we're with this is not the last time. Like I said, we are definitely um, bringing back Women's Talk Radio. Women's Talk Live is also going to be coming back. We did take a little break, um, but I think that I miss this. I miss radio. A lot of people would tell me, "Hey, April, are you gonna do radio again?" And I was just like, "Oh,
It's
oh
work.
no, that
It
was a lot
sounds
of
good,
work,
but
a lot
people
of
don't
work."
understand.
But
It's work. It's work.
I think one part, I think Bishop Johnson said to me, he said, "April, you brought about a voice that is missing um, from our community."
Mhm.
Because my biggest thing was educating people and bringing about awareness. So that was one of the factors and decisions of me really bringing back WPB Radio. So along with Women's Talk Radio, I'm also bringing back the Live Wire Morning Show. I talked to them this morning. They're super excited about coming back.
Oh my
So
God.
and
And Larry
I'm
and Ray and
excited.
Henry. I mean, what the hell? What we
But
gonna
you know
what
what?
we
Hey,
gonna do?
listen, again, they're comedians. And
I know, but
you
the three of
know,
them sometimes it's like, are they ready to fight and shit?
but that's who they are. That's who they
I
are.
know, I know.
They laugh, they joke, they fight. But in all in all,
It's all
I miss
love.
the family.
What
I miss the family atmosphere. And we're also bringing back Courtman. So he's gonna do the jazz show. So
wow.
yeah, we're gonna do a
And we
lot of
also are
stuff.
gonna have opportunities for you to do your own show if you want, podcasting, all of this stuff. So it's
Exactly,
a lot
exactly.
coming. It's a lot
It's
coming.
a
It's a
lot.
lot
It's a
coming.
lot.
People
It's a
just
lot.
don't know.
So
It's a lot. And we're gonna be doing some live spots around
we
around
are, we are, we are.
around Baltimore.
We are.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna sit
Yes, we
down and
got
do some
some good
stuff.
stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Men, we gonna need you. Definitely
Yes,
gonna
we
need the
are.
men. We're gonna
Yes,
need
we
the
are.
men. We're gonna do Sassy's roundtable, but we're gonna do it on Women Talk Live. We
Yeah,
got
yeah.
that men's roundtable on deck.
Yeah. Waiting for
Yes,
that. Waiting for that.
absolutely.
So, but
So
yeah,
Kimberly,
this was just kind of like a kickoff. I want to say soft kickoff.
soft kickoff.
But we're all gonna sit down. We're gonna get together, and we're gonna have a set time where we'll just come and do the show live here on this platform and record it for radio and play it on there so that way you'll be able to hear it live on there too. So
Mhm.
I'm excited. This is great. I'm
I'm
glad to have
excited.
KO
I did
Boogie
miss
back.
this. I did miss
I'm
Monday. Look,
so.
they had Monday night
This
football. We
was
had
like
Monday night
nice
drinking.
and day. I miss you guys so much. This was awesome. I feel like I went, college reunion, sweet mates. You go back for homecoming, catch up.
Right, right. Yeah, this is
Right,
awesome. This is
right.
awesome. So yeah, so make sure you follow each of us. Also, our Instagram, WPB Media Networks. You can also go onto the website. Make sure you follow Sassy Scribe and Situations with
At Sassy
Sassy.
Scribe is at
And
Sassy Scribe
yeah,
on Instagram. But
and make
Google
sure you
Sassy Scribe, everything comes up.
okay. And KO Boogie, she got some
Mm,
dope ass food. So make sure you follow her on
yes,
Facebook
indeed.
to keep up with her.
Telling you.
So when she opens up, her restaurant, we there. We
Oh,
there.
It's gonna be, they already got some black restaurants, but this gonna be the
This
top.
gonna be epic. Yeah.
This gonna be the
come.
top.
We come.
I'm telling you, look, listen, you cook your ass off. I ain't taking nothing away
Yeah.
from the other
No,
people out
she
there,
does. She
but
does. She
I'm
definitely
ready
does.
for breaking bread.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah, we're
definitely.
breaking bread.
All right, y'all. This is Women's Talk Live with April J.
I'm your girl, Sassy Scribe,
And this
and
is
I
AL Book.
guess
All right, y'all. Check it out. We'll see y'all next time.